welcome to the summit. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Dallas. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here today.
Just so delighted. You have such a wonderful energy. I just always love talking with you. And let me just read your brief bio to introduce people to you if they haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet. And then we'll just dive right into this topic that is so important for so many things, not just around writing. So Jill Lacsa is a women's confidence coach who helps women pursue their dreams by helping them break through confidence barriers so they can live their happiest life. Such an important mission, Jill. I love this so much. And I think so many women in particular, confidence is a huge barrier for why they don't write their book, not having the confidence to even put pen to paper. I hear so many of my clients say, well, who cares about my story? Who would want to hear what I have to say? And then we also come up around having the confidence to then share our books with the world. So I just think the work that you do, I'm sure you see this all the time, I'm sure has ripple effects in all areas of women's life, not just around their business, not just around writing a book. I'm sure up-leveling your confidence just helps you shine throughout your life in all areas.
Oh, I can't agree more. Honestly, relationships change. It creates happiness in your life. When you're a happier person, everything in your life gets better. It just impacts all areas. And, I think that fear is such a big thing. And when we kind of break through that barrier, we start creating more space to follow our dreams and write that book and pursue those passions. Because when we're fearful, so much of our heart space is taken up with anxiety and worrying about rejection and what others think and all of the stuff that ties into that. When we start feeling really confident within ourselves and start believing in ourselves, you have so much more open space to invite the things in your life that you love or that you care about or that you're passionate about. It's amazing.
I love the way, even just hearing you describe that, I feel like there's just this energy of spaciousness that it just like radiates from you. And I think we've all felt that when you think about a time when you do feel fear or you are maybe spiraling into like worst case scenario, what if this happens? What if that happens? I think you're so right. I think of it as like this kind of inward versus this like confident spaciousness that I just think is so beautiful. And that energy, like you're saying, it just really like feeds off of itself. I just think, and
Does.
maybe we could talk a little bit more about that fear, because I do feel like that is really, you hit upon the root of why it can be so hard sometimes to like pursue our dreams or pursue something that really does matter to us, because I think we have this fear of like, what if I go for it and I'm not able to do it or something goes wrong? Or, I mean, do you want to talk a little bit about that fear that I think is really that root cause of not having confidence to pursue what we love?
Yes. And so fear is really helpful when you've got a bear chasing you or you're in the line of gunshot or something. That's really there to protect you. But when it isn't serving you well and it's really not helpful, is when you're creating stories of worry about failure or rejection or criticism. Those, to me, fear is the acronym is false evidence appearing real. It's a
Mm.
story you've created in your mind that hasn't happened yet. And failure really, the definition to me of that is, okay, this didn't work out, but I got good information from it. And now I can redirect and try it a little bit differently. So it's just a learning process. It's really just information. It isn't that you failed, you're still learning. So it's like flipping that mindset to view things in a different light instead of a sabotaging thought. I can't do it, I'm scared. And when you are feeling the fear, I challenge these beautiful women to step into that uncomfortableness, because that's where we grow and that's where we start building confidence. As you do things that scare you just a little bit, you'll find out nothing earth-shattering happens. It ends up being okay. And hey, sometimes it's like fabulous. It ends up amazing. And you're like, why did I wait? but you have to be willing to step into it and take that action. If your heart center is telling you that you really desire that, you can't ignore it and you can't suppress it, because it's just going to come back bigger and bigger and bigger for you. You've got to honor it and listen to it and trust your intuition and trust yourself. And that there's people that have done some of these things before and they've survived it. So you will too. You're not alone in this. It's amazing, but it's got to be action, because talking and thinking about it all day long without the action, it falls dead.
Yeah, so true. And so much of this relates just so clearly to just even, I'm thinking about the process of launching a book, but even just the process of writing a book. When you were talking about like stepping into that discomfort, I think that it's so common for us to feel a little bit uncomfortable when we're doing something new or we're doing something that is a little bit scary because it matters to us so deeply. And we see that discomfort as like a signal that we shouldn't do it. I hear so many women who say, well, I started writing my book and then I didn't really know what to say and it felt kind of uncomfortable. And so, I just stopped. And it's like, no, that, like you were saying, that discomfort is what leads to the growth. Like, that's why it's this transformational process. You're a different person at the end. So just to, like you're saying, it's okay. It's normal to feel that discomfort and just kind of sit with it and keep going. And your confidence just builds. Like if it's writing a book, every single time you sit down to write and you actually do it, you're going to be more confident in yourself as a writer.
Absolutely. Everything takes practice, right? It's just like going to the gym. The first time you walk into the weight training section, it's like, oh my gosh, there's a bunch of men in here and I'm scared and I'm intimidated. But then you do a little bit, you learn a little bit, and each time you go back, you get a little stronger, a little more confident. Same with writing the book. If your heart center is telling you that you have this deep desire to get your story out, then you just have to start. And take what I call, that my coach always tells me, and I love this and I live by it. If I get into the type A, it has to be perfect right now mindset. I'm a recovering type A person. And I'm learning that I need to take imperfect action because perfect doesn't exist.
So powerful. I love that so much. That's such a great affirmation. Even just like write it down, everyone, and put it up there on your computer screen so you see it.
Yeah, just keep moving forward and don't stop. Follow your heart and keep moving forward. You can keep getting better and better, and the confidence just builds with action. But you've got to take action and trust yourself and be a little courageous and just get uncomfortable, because it is uncomfortable when you're learning something new or challenging. Of course it is. That's normal. That's natural. You haven't done it before. So yeah.
Well, and everyone listening, if you've had this book idea inside of your heart that you've been thinking about for a long time, this is officially your nudge from the universe to, as Jill is saying, to start taking some action towards that. And that's going to build your confidence. I also wanted to talk with you, Jill. You are an expert really about setting boundaries. And that is something that you teach on, that you help women on. And I think it's so closely tied to these fears that we have. Often we have fears of setting boundaries. And I think in particular, one reason I really wanted to have you as a guest for the summit is that the number one thing I hear from women about writing their book is, well, I don't have the time. How do I make time to do this? Which I think is related to this fear of setting the boundary around, like, I'm going to do this and this matters to me and this is important and I matter and my dreams matter. I think there's so much wrapped up there in that ability to really like create that space for yourself and set that boundary. So I know that you teach whole workshops on this, so we're just going to get into a little bit, but did you want to just talk about that a little bit with the idea of why women need to set boundaries and how maybe we can get better at doing that?
Absolutely. Boundaries are the ultimate act of self-love. And when you choose to set a boundary, the end result is you're choosing happiness because you're eliminating things in your life that drain your energy, or you're reducing time around those things, and you're opening up space to pursue the things that you love. You deserve that, but it starts with you doing it for yourself. And when we take the other person out of it because we get hung up on what are they going to say? What are they going to think? Will I be rejected, criticized? Will they not like me anymore? You get all caught up in the result and the other person. Take them out of it. This is about you, lovelies. It's about self-love and loving, honoring, and caring for yourself so that you can create more space for the things that you love. You're going to be a happier person and you're choosing happiness. And those that love you and honor you and care for you, they will understand. And those that don't, do we really want them in our circle? Maybe we're changing and we need to take a look at that. Because really, the love and the support is what we need in our life, especially when we're stepping out and doing something new. It's important to surround yourself with that. Important. That's self-love and it's self-care. And you just have to do it. Just take those people out of the equation. This is not about them. You can be loving and set that boundary and follow that dream. Because ignoring what's in your heart doesn't work. You're denying a part of who you are and what makes you the beautiful person that you are. And if you have a story to tell inside of you, your story is beautiful and unique like nobody else's. There's no one like you. It needs to be told. There's someone out there waiting to read your story.
Goosebumps. Everyone, you can just save this and replay this before you start your writing sessions. I could not agree more, Jill. I just feel so deeply that each one of us has our own unique gifts and our own unique stories, and our book, nobody else could write it except for us. And so if we don't take the initiative to pursue that dream of writing that book, then exactly what you're saying, there are people out there that need your book, that your book will help, that they won't get that. And so I love that idea too of, I love how you're reframing boundaries as self-love. And then maybe also even, I think it even goes beyond that. We're thinking about this gift that you're doing for yourself. But when we are able to tap into that work that matters to our hearts, it really does create this ripple effect. Like there are people out there that by you being brave and setting that boundary and writing your book, it's going to help so many more people too. So it's like worth that discomfort of facing that fear and saying, you know what, this is important. This is my writing time. I'm sorry, I can't go, take the kid to soccer practice right now. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't go bake cookies for the bake sale. Like this is my writing time. I'm going to honor that and set that boundary because this matters to me.
That's right. Absolutely. It is a ripple effect. What you do gives other people courage to do the same thing. Like you don't know what lives you're impacting. You don't know who needs your book. You don't know who's going to be inspired to write theirs. You just don't know what you don't know. And so you have to follow your heart and don't give people the opportunity. You're really eliminating the opportunity for others to enjoy a part of you when you don't put yourself out there. Do it for people that potentially are going to read your book. Think of them. Take yourself out of it. And when we think about serving others and really focus on them, then we don't worry as much about what we look like or how we sound or if there's going to be criticism, because it's not about us. It's about the message. It's about the message that's going to resonate and change lives in positive ways. It could be enjoyable reading. It could be self-help, whatever it is you want to share. It needs to be heard, and there's someone waiting for that book. Just like there's a person waiting for you as a coach. There's someone that's looking for you out there.
So it's so true. It is just, you just describe it so beautifully. just that ripple effect that happens. I think so much of what we're talking about today, it's almost like these tiny seeds that you kind of plant and you practice, and then you just see the way that these amazing shifts happen. And I always like to think when I write something, whether it's a book or even it could be like a blog post or something even on social media, I almost imagine it as like a message that I'm putting into a bottle and like sending out, into the ocean, and just, you have no idea
No idea.
who it's going to reach and who it's going to touch. And so I just I love that reframe. I think for all of us, and we notice ourselves getting into the headspace of, like you're saying, worrying about rejection, having those made up fears in our minds, worried about
Yep.
how other people are going to react. Instead, like noticing and doing that reframe of, this is an act of self-love. This is an act of generosity for other people in the world. And,
Yes.
this is something
Yes.
that is actually quite important. I mean, this to me, Jill, what you're talking about, I just feel like it's really the foundation of creating a life that you love and that matters to you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We're given, desires of our heart, and we really need to love and honor those and take action. Because I know for years I knew what my life purpose was and I ignored it. And it left me in misery for years. It left me having self-doubt and just unhappy in general. And when I started to embrace and step out and get uncomfortable and have to be on camera and do all these things regarding technology that I didn't understand, just one step at a time, and I took myself out of it. Who am I serving? How can I help? Who's this going to touch? It became easier to get uncomfortable for the next thing and the next thing. And it's building your confidence one baby step at a time, but you just have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to lock arms with people that love you and support you and care about you when you are doing new and uncomfortable things.
Mm-hmm. Well,
It's
and you are
amazing.
one of those people for so many women out there. Maybe you can just share what kind of your free gift, the opportunity that people can use to work with you and to kind of dive into all of this stuff deeper. We've really just kind of touched the surface today. But do you want to share your free opportunity, your free gift for
Sure.
people attending?
So I offer on September 3rd a free How to Set Boundaries workshop. In there, I teach you my major mindset shift hack. And then we talk about the 7 tactical steps that you'll want to incorporate into setting your boundary. We have a little fun. We get in touch with the things that light our fire and kind of get to know who we are a little bit. And then we take a look at that one recurring thing that we keep saying yes to that's creating a ton of unhappiness in our lives, and consider setting a boundary around that. It's a lot of fun. And that's happening. It's 90 minutes long. It'll be happening on September 3rd. That'll be the next one. And it's free to all of these women that are attending your event. And I think, learning to set boundaries is just huge. So we'll have fun in there. We'll do some work, and you have some great takeaways. In my confidence building program, I do a pillar of self-care, self-love, and boundaries falls into that. And it's a big one. It's a great confidence booster when you take action and you implement what I share, and it changes your life and your time and how you're spending it. Then you're spending it more with the people you love, doing the things that you love, and your happiness just gets bigger, as well as your confidence. You stand a little taller because you're feeling good inside about yourself.
I love this, Jill. Such a great opportunity. And I know that you even mentioned to me, if someone feels like, oh, I don't know if I can attend it live, there's even a recording that you send out. So I think that is if you are listening and you've ever had the thought of like, I don't think I have time to write my book, I don't know how to make time to write my book, Jill's workshop on boundaries, it seems like this is just perfect for you to actually start making that time. So I just love that. It's such a great gift that you give. And what are other ways that people, if they're listening and they want to find you, they want to follow you, they want to work with you, do you want to just share the best ways for people to get in touch with you?
Sure. I'm on Instagram as JILLLACSA, Jill Lacsa. You can also find me at JillLacsaCoaching.com. And my email is jillloxacoaching@gmail. So I'm reachable through all of those methods. And I say, if you're interested in this workshop, register. And if you can't make it, I will happily send you the replay. Just get registered with your email because I email that out to you. Even if you attend, I will email it out so you have the replay so you can look back and refresh if you get stuck on something. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I love connecting with women all over the world. They're from Australia and all kinds of really fun places, not just in the US. So it's amazing, the online world.
It is. That is so great, Jill. Well, I will include all of those links too and little notes below this video. It's just such a pleasure to talk with you. You've just brightened my whole day. I feel like I have this new energy for the rest of my day. And just thank you so much for taking the time to really build us all up and just remind us of why this really matters. You're just such a gem, such a delight.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. You filled up my heart space today, and I've enjoyed every second of it.